are you raising the next like evil emperor? And I named them all, and I named them Sparkle, Rainbow, Glitter. 9 months is not enough time for me to come up with a name that is good and will stick. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I'm Yvette and I moved to the UK and I'm documenting my experiences. And one thing I always watch these videos, and firstly, I'm not pregnant and in no way am I planning on being pregnant, but I like to name things. And I have a sordid history, shall we say, with naming things. So I named my cat, like I have bad history of naming things basically. So like I named my cat Twinkle when I was 6 and that cat lived for 22 years. So when I was like 25 and this cat was still alive and I'd have to be like, it's my cat Twinkle, and my family would have to be like, it's the cat Twinkle. And then I'd name I used to have, my mum had like a pond at the front and it used to have frogs and tadpoles in it. So we collected all the frogs and tadpoles and mum put them in like a fish, what do you call it? Fishbowl. She had like a fishbowl and I got to watch the life cycle of a frog when I was growing up, and that was part of like my learning. And I named them all, and I named them Sparkle, Rainbow, Glitter. I had an otter that held a star and he was called Starry. I had a blue teddy bear called Bluey, and then I had a pink teddy bear. Guess what it was called? Pinky. So I wasn't known as the most creative child. I clearly liked sparkly things and pink and whatever color they were. So I made a rule, and now I've got Bambi. Which I'm happy with Bambi's name. Part of me thinks it's like, oh, people think the animal, but she's actually named Bambino. So it's like, Bambino! Oh, she doesn't even care. Bambi. Okay, well, I guess she's called Bambi then. She doesn't respond to Bambino because I never say it. Thus proving, I said to Daniel, I was like, if we have kids, we have to have the names picked out well before we even consider getting pregnant, because 9 months is not enough time for me to come up with a name that is good and will stick. So for context, my name's Yvette, in case you didn't know. I don't have a nickname, it doesn't get shortened. And that bothered me, particularly because in Australia everyone has a nickname and I didn't get one. My best friend growing up was called Caitlin and she got Katie. Other friend, Sal, Sally. Josh, Joshua, Josh. Like all my friends had nicknames and I never had one. So I have to make sure my kids can have a nickname, firstly. And then secondly, gets misspelt every damn day. I spend half my life respelling it to people you don't even know. I get E-V-E-T-T-E, I get Y-E-V-E-T-T-E, I get Y-V-E-T-T-T-T-T-E, I get Y-V-E-T-T-E-E-E, I get Y-U-E-V-T-T-E. It's like, what are you doing? So my name gets misspelled all the time. And then there's this one time in primary school, this is turning to therapy, but we were sitting in class and they were like, we can go to lunch as we call the first letter of your name. So they said, if your name starts with a B, you can all go to lunch. If your name starts with an A, you can all go to lunch. If your name starts with an S, you can all go to lunch. And I was just like, because I knew they're not gonna go, oh, if your name starts with a Y, because no one's name starts with Y. Triggered. So that's my history of naming. So naming is very important to me, so I have to get it right and cover off all of my insane bases before I can allow myself to even contemplate having a kid. So I always look at baby names because I've always had that in my head. I'm like, well, I can't have kids until I have their names, because what if I accidentally name my kid something crazy? Because I go between two types of names that I like. I go between, quite traditional names, like Eleanor, really like that, because then you get called Ella or Elle. But then I also go Jupiter Rain, but Rain spelt like the royal monarchy reign, like R-E-I-N-G. So I also want to name my kid Jupiter or Juniper. And Dad was like, what are you doing? So I go between like the most hippy dippy names and the most conservative names. And that's why, and the fact that like if I'm high on drugs, there's no telling which way I'm gonna go. So I need to have these planned well beforehand. So I've been looking at British names because honestly, they kind of do go either way, because you either get very traditional, the, you know, the Olivers, the Oliviers, all that. And then you also do get the Poppies, which are a bit more like informal, but very pretty names. So I thought I would do this video and go through the top 10 British baby names of 2020 and give you my thoughts, because apparently I'm an absolute wild card. So the top 10 baby names for boys for 2020 in the UK, so British baby names. Number 1, Milo. Do I like this? I do think it's cute, but there's a very famous drink in the UK, very famous, do you know Nesquik? Like you have like chocolate powder and you mix it in. It's like an iconic, so there's like Vegemite and then there's Milo. Like they're one in the same. I'll put a photo. It's like a chocolate drink mix, and you guys don't have it here, but it's like, it's honestly up there with Vegemite as like fame. So like I can't be naming my kid Milo, because that would be insane if we went home. Do you know? That's literally like naming my kid Vegemite. I can't. But it's a nice name. I have not, like, sorry if you're Milo, it's a great name. It's just the food has ruined it. Asher. That's interesting to me because that sounds quite American, despite this list being British. So weird. Number 3, Oliver. I read this was the most popular name, so I'm surprised it's so low. I think it was the most popular last year, Oliver. I really like Oliver, actually, and then Oliver, 10 out of 10, would recommend, good name. Silas, am I saying that right? Silas, I think it is. Yeah, Silas. Silas sounds like a villain. Who's naming the kid Silas? That's insane. It's like, your kid is definitely gonna be a bully. Like, are you raising the next, like, evil emperor? Do you want Emperor Palpatine? Because that's what you'll get with Silas. Levi, that's American. I swear this list is like, it said this is UK. This is supposed to be UK, but Levi is American to me. Number 6, very British, Theodore. I really like Theodore. It's kind of that, it's old-timey classic. And I like Theodore because you can nickname it Theo, and then you get like that hedges towards like hippy dippy, not hippy dippy, but like a bit more modern, you know. And you get the old with the new, and I like that. You get to merge my two crazy sides of my personality into one. So Theodore / Theo, very much approve of. Jasper, this reminds me of Twilight. Take that for what you will. There was a character called Jasper. Also, I think of 101 Dalmatians, the dog catcher was called Jasper, wasn't he? So yeah, that's what I think of. Number 8 is Atticus. I really like Atticus. See, I really like old-timey names. Really old or really modern, nothing in between. You know, a name like, I don't know, Daniel is too down the line for me. Atticus, one of my favorite books, and I know it might be a bit of a cliche, is the To Kill a Mockingbird. It's just a very good book, and I actually watched the film on a plane a few years ago because I hadn't seen it in years, because we obviously, I think everyone does it in school, yeah. But my dad showed me the film when I was young, like before I did it in school, so I don't necessarily associate it with school. But Atticus Finch was the lawyer who was like the goody, the white savior, which I know is a bit problematic these days, but people get a bit carried away, don't they? But yeah, so I really like Atticus. Daniel didn't agree with me, but I like Atticus. I would name my kid Atticus. Number 9, Arlo. I don't know that name. I've never heard Arlo, so I'm surprised it's number 9. That's bizarre. But once again, maybe they're getting more American names in here. And then the last of the top 10 is Leo. So I do have a slight pet peeve, and this might offend people, might be a hot take, so, but I don't know. So a name like Theodore I like because it's got the long version, and then it also has the nickname Theo, so it kind of gives the child the option. So Leo is obviously very similar to Theo, so it's a very nice name, but I think for the birth certificate it should be like Leopold, or whatever the long version of Leo is. Leonardo? Whatever you want to name your kid, make it the long version, and then the nickname is Leo, because then the kid has a choice. So we're on to girls' names. So the first most common girls' names or most popular name in the UK for this year was Luna. I really like the name Luna. I would name my kid Luna. However, my cousin named her dog Luna, and we all know that that ruins the name. My mum named her dog Max before I was born, and then her cousin got really angry because she wanted to name her son Max. But also Max is the most popular dog's name, so that's on them. Number 2 is Olivia. I really like the name Olivia. I just happen to know so many Olivias my age, so I kind of associate it as like I associate so many people with it because I know so many people. So it's like everyone knows Olivia's, which is funny because when I was growing up in my year at school, there was 5 Ashleys. That was the most common name, I think. And then like a lot of Lukes, so many Lukes. Number 3, Aurora. I love this name. I would name my kid, are you right? I would name my kid Aurora in a heartbeat. I was at the top of my baby name list for a long time, and then it started getting popular, so now I've gone off it. But it definitely fits into my hippy dippy side. But Aurora I liked because it's the princess from Sleeping Beauty, and I thought it was like, out of all the names in Disney princesses, it's the one that doesn't get used. Like Ariel, everyone knows. Belle has been used. What else is there? Jasmine. They're all names that you automatically associate, but Aurora you don't. So I thought it was like a fun, like tongue-in-cheek, like little nod. But now everyone's doing it, so I could have like a 7-year-old kid called Aurora if I just like committed to the name when I thought about it. But now I've changed my mind. But I do really love it. It's very pretty. I could sell myself on it again. It's very nice. Number 4 is Maeve. Maeve I adore. I really also enjoy like old lady names, if that makes any sense. So, sorry if your name's Maeve, but do you know what I mean? Like I think of an old lady, like what's the other old ladies' names? Like, I don't know, June, Audrey, Florence, like all those, you just picture like a grandma. I love that for like a child. I think it's the fun, like the most cute juxtaposition of like your mental image versus what it is. So that's, I very much enjoy that. And Maeve, I really like Maeve. I would do that. Do I want that as a middle name? Or do I want Aurora as a middle name? I've also decided, I think, we'll see. So I've said that I like the hippy dippy name and I also like the traditional name. I'm gonna do a normal, or well, in theory, I'll put like a traditional name at the start, and then I'll put my hippy dippy name in the middle as a middle name, so that I still get it, and then it's there. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be like Maeve Juniper Barnett. So it's like traditional, random, what the fuck are you doing, and then the last name. And I think that's a good way to satisfy that. However, I am also, could also flip it and be like, it's a Juniper Maeve. This is also a pretty name. 10 out of 10 would name my kid Juniper Maeve. Next one, number 5 is Isla or Isla, and the fact that I don't know and can't tell which way it goes is why I wouldn't name my kid that. Reminds me of Isla Fisher, and she's great. But yeah, I think you wouldn't get a nickname and people are gonna misspell it. So as someone who's been there, don't do it. Number 6, Charlotte. I love Charlotte because it's a very traditional, like lovely name. It has a cute nickname, Lottie, and then it's, yeah, I just really enjoy it. The problem is I have a really good friend called Charlotte, so now it's like weird if I named her that. Now, the other thing is Daniel never agreed to that one. I don't know why, I don't know what his problem is. I love the name. Number 7 is Ava. Ava, I don't mind. Once again, no nickname. Probably won't get spelt wrong, there's only 3 letters, but also it sounds very American, doesn't sound British, so I don't know why it's on this list. Number 8, sorry, can't count, is Evelyn. I love the name Evelyn. It's probably my favorite baby name. The reason I wouldn't name my kid Evelyn is just because I think it feels like I'm naming my kid after me, because it's spelt E-V-E, then L-Y-N, whereas my name is Y-V-E-T-T-E, so it's like 2 E's and V's. I'm like, oh, is it like naming my kid after myself? Is it a bit egotistical? Like, I don't know. Don't love it. Then if she gets called Eve as a nickname from Evelyn, then it's Eve and Yvette, and that seems very like like Edward the Sixth. Do you mean? I don't want to do that to them, but I do love it. And if I grew up watching The Mummy, that Brendan Fraser movie,
The girl in that was called Evelyn, and I loved her because she loved history and she liked traveling and adventure, and it was very me. So yeah, I would have loved it. I wish my name was Evelyn. I want to name my kid Evelyn. I want to be Evelyn. Number 9 is Ophelia. It's a nice name. Questions for anyone who I have a question for anyone who's wants to name their kid Ophelia. Have you read Hamlet? Do you know what happens to Ophelia? Well, famously happens to Ophelia. I would never feel comfortable with my child around water. Like, no way. It's just like, it's too much, because like I don't know, she's famous for dying. Like, why are you, do you know what I mean? It just seems real, like, why, you know? I don't know. It's a nice name though, I get it, but I just feel like Hamlet's, like, spoilers, I guess. Spoilers for the 1500s. But yeah, she dies and I can't black that out. And the last thing you want to do is imagine your child dying. And the last one is Eloise. Eloise is a cute little modernization on Louise. I think it's quite cute. It does fit my traditional plus like modern thing. It is very cute. Very cute. 10 out of 10 would allow. Quick Google to tell you some of the names in Australia as to why I prefer British names and having like the traditional with the nickname, because there's also like, they didn't have it on here, but I know like Poppy and Lottie and like all these cute nicknames are quite, or Fern and cute like florally names in the UK, and I quite like that, as well as like the traditional Eleanors, Charlottes, you know, Emmeline's, all that kind of stuff as well is really nice. This is Australia's list. I'm just going to tell you the ones that are different, obviously. There are crossover. Mia, Isla, Ella, Zoe, Evie, Ruby, Ivy, Lily. So they're all short, because Australians like a nickname, which I didn't get the luxury of, but they don't even go for like the traditional name, they just name their kid the nickname. Like Evie. Evie is the name. Evie should be the nickname of Evelyn. So that's probably why I have my feelings. So hopefully I haven't offended anyone. Honestly, I think most British names are really nice, and I like the short names. I just think they should be nicknames, because I've got trauma that I've not let go. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. In the comments below, tell me any names that are your favorite, or that you think are quintessentially British that weren't included, like Winston or something, you know, or Elizabeth. Don't know how Elizabeth wasn't on that list. Do you think that's going to be the most British name, or Harry, or William? Or maybe that's why Charlotte's on there. Got it. Because of Princess Charlotte. Then there's Louis, and what's the, oh my gosh, I'm mental blanking. What's the king's, like the king to be? Mental blanking. You'll have to tell me in the comments below. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe so I can see you next time. And I hope you guys are handling this well, and not long till Christmas.